Good morning. My name is Emily Bourassa. I am Chief Financial Officer and Vice President Corporate Services here at SAIT. Before we begin, it is important for me to take a moment to acknowledge the land we are on today. In the spirit of reconciliation, I want to recognize we are gathering here today on the traditional territories of the Niitsitapi, Blackfoot, and the people of Treaty 7, including the Siksika, the Piikani, the Kainai, the Tsuut'ina, and the Iha Nakota Bearspaw, Chiniki, and Goodstoney. We are situated in the area the Blackfoot tribes can traditionally call Mohkinstsis, where the Bow River meets the Elbow. We now call it the City of Calgary, which is also home to the Métis Nation of Alberta. It is a pleasure to welcome you to SAIT here at the Cenovus Energy Centre for today's important announcement. On behalf of our institution, I want to thank the Government of Alberta, Minister of Environment and Protected Areas, Rebecca Schulz, Emissions Reductions Alberta, and Flash Forest for choosing our campus as the venue to showcase Alberta's leadership. Just a quick sidebar about Cenovus. I wanted to thank Cenovus once again. Just 2 days ago, as SAIT launched its Real Futures campaign, Cenovus announced an incredible gift of $3.7 million to support the transformation of applied energy education through curriculum revitalizations, upgrading equipment, and technology that reimagines the learning experience, reinforcing SAIT's ability to provide hands-on, real-world training. That said, with abundant natural resources, geographic advantages, and a legacy of energy leadership, Alberta is poised to lead in a new era of sustainable energy solutions. This leadership is evident here at SAIT. Our institution has always been at the intersection of education, research, and industry, providing the foundation for groundbreaking advancements in technology and energy. Another reason why we are pleased to host today's announcement here at SAIT. We are proud to play a role in empowering the workforce of tomorrow. Through initiatives like our Real Futures campaign, we are investing in programs, partnerships, and research that aligns with Alberta's evolving economic landscape. Together, we are ensuring that Alberta remains a global leader in sustainable energy solutions. Thank you for joining us today. We look forward to continued collaboration as we work toward a prosperous, competitive, and sustainable future for Alberta and beyond. And now, I'd like to hand the mic over to Minister Schulz to make today's announcement.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much, and good morning, everybody. It is great to be here at SAIT today. Obviously, a very exciting week here in a facility dedicated to training the trades workers that our province needs both today and tomorrow. Alberta is a global leader, thanks to our industry, in developing new technologies to reduce emissions, while of course providing the safe, affordable, and reliable energy to Canada and the world for decades to come. Our resources, our people, and our entrepreneurial spirit are second to none. That is, of course, what made us an energy superpower, and it is also why Alberta was one of the first in the world to embrace new technologies. We are leading in carbon capture. It is how we became Canada's hydrogen leader, why our geothermal breakthroughs using technology perfected in our oil and gas industry will soon be powering thousands of homes in Germany and beyond. It's the reason that methane technologies created in Calgary and across Alberta are now being installed around the world. It is why two of the largest carbon capture petrochemical projects in Canadian history are now under construction just a few hours north of here. No one innovates and creates faster and better than Alberta. Of course, countries and companies around the world, industries and businesses are working to develop and implement the technologies of tomorrow while keeping energy affordable and remaining economically competitive. In today's global market, with energy demand on the rise every single day around the world and energy security being at the top of minds across North America, these technologies matter now more than ever. The choice is clear. Alberta and Canada are leading the way, and of course we want to continue to do so. That is why we are here today. We're announcing $55 million in funding from the industry-funded TIER program to help drive a new wave of innovation, of course creating jobs and providing the world and our country with the energy that it needs. It will also help attract new investments and help secure Alberta's place as a global provider of choice for responsible energy production for years to come. Of course, this is delivered through Emissions Reduction Alberta, and this funding is going to 15 projects. These include funding for technologies that use clay to help create low-carbon cement, and funding for a new sealant that will reduce costs and methane emissions for oil and gas wells. It includes funding to develop a new approach for creating concentrated milk products, letting them be transported using less energy and turned into even more products. This funding will also help upgrade Calgary's Fish Creek wastewater treatment plant to run on thermal energy, just the second time in Canada that this technology is being used. Other projects will revolutionize tree planting, keep plastics out of landfills, and increase testing using drones to improve wildfire monitoring in remote areas, something that is also top of mind for Albertans. All of these breakthroughs are being led by Albertans and tested right here at home. We are funding the trailblazers, the innovators, and the big thinkers, the people who made this such an amazing place of opportunity and promise. I can't wait to see these amazing projects come to fruition. And of course, now I'll pass things on over to Heather Stevens with Emissions Reduction Alberta, who will tell us a little bit more about these projects.
Thank you, Minister Schulz. As always, we appreciate the Government of Alberta's support and particularly your support. Good morning, everyone. As Minister Schulz said, my name is Heather Stevens. I am the Chief Operating Officer of Emissions Reduction Alberta, or ERA, and I'm excited to be here today with the Minister to make this important announcement. Before we begin, I'd like to thank Emily Bourassa and SAIT for hosting us today. We appreciate it. Your team has been incredibly supportive. The Cenovus Energy Centre at SAIT is a fine example of industry and academia working together to advance the solutions our province needs. I can't imagine a better venue for today's exciting announcement, not just because of the role post-secondary institutions play in advancing innovation, but also because Cenovus is partnered with a couple of the projects we are announcing today, and including our two guest speakers. I understand that Michael Cody, Senior Manager for Environment and Regulatory Services for Cenovus Energy, is with us here today. As Minister Schulz said, today we are announcing almost $55 million in funding towards 15 projects. Importantly, these projects are worth more than $156 million in public and private investment. This is a great example of industry and government taking steps to de-risk important technologies, to not only reduce emissions, but grow the economy and make our core industries more competitive in Canada and on the global stage. This is important now more than ever. A big part of this investment is being made through our Industrial Transformation Challenge, which represents $46 million of investment into 12 projects. We've also committed nearly $9 million in 3 organizations through our continuous intake program, a funding stream that allows us to consider projects outside of our traditional calls for proposal. In combination, these projects have the potential to truly transform Alberta's industrial landscape, strengthen our economy, and create jobs. What more can we ask for? By investing in these technologies today, we are helping to maintain Alberta as a global leader in industrial innovation. We are paving the way for a more sustainable and competitive future across sectors: oil and gas, concrete and cement, pulp and paper, biotechnology, and more. These transformative projects will reduce costs, water use, and tailings production in oil sands mining, advance AI-enabled drone infrastructure in remote locations to support wildfire monitoring, and when remediation is needed, utilizing drones for rapid post-wildfire reforestation. On top of that, these technologies will use machine learning to monitor emissions in combustion equipment, test a novel method to support lower carbon cement, demonstrate a new solar thermal energy technology, and the list goes on. This province's long-standing commitment to reducing emissions demands significant transformational changes across all our industries. and that's exactly what we are doing. I encourage everyone to visit eralberta.ca to learn more. Collectively, these 15 projects are estimated to deliver greenhouse gas emissions reductions of an average of roughly 120,000 tonnes annually, over 390,000 tonnes by 2030, and leading to over 2.2 million estimated cumulative tonnes by 2050. And this doesn't even account for when the market adopts these technologies on a wider basis. In addition to environmental benefits, these investments will provide substantial economic advantages for the province. By 2027, these projects are expected to generate about 1,600 person-year jobs and add over $237 million to Alberta's GDP. These figures show the impact we aim for in our funding and are a key driver for making this an annual funding opportunity. What's exciting is these projects are taking place across the province, from Calgary to Cynthia, Gordondale to Grand Prairie, Blackfalds to Lloydminster, Edmonton to Exshaw. They cover large emitters and municipalities, small and medium-sized enterprises, and startups. While I'd love to discuss all of the projects, time allows me to only touch on a few. In Calgary, our $7.4 million investment will enable the city to upgrade the Fish Creek wastewater treatment plant to keep up with rapid population growth. Their new system will capture thermal energy from treated effluent to meet the additional heating capacity needed for the new infrastructure at the plant. In Whitecourt, Alberta Newsprint Company, the province's sole paper mill, will conduct comprehensive energy efficiency upgrades to reduce costs and emissions, all to produce a higher grade product and enhancing competitiveness. In Lloydminster and across the province, TS-NANO is developing a cutting-edge nano-modified polymer that prevents methane leaks from abandoned oil and gas wells, and we'll hear more about this project shortly. Also, we are all familiar with the plastic clamshell containers we see in the grocery store. Turns out they're incredibly difficult to recycle. With our $2 million investment, Merlin Plastics will repurpose the material, keeping over 5,000 metric tons of plastic out of the landfills each year. And Merlin has customers in place to buy the recycled material and return it to usable packaging again, improving circularity of the plastic. And that's only a few of the projects. I assure you the rest are equally as impressive. Again, please visit our website to learn more. Once again, thank you to the Minister and Government of Alberta. Thank you to Emily and SAIT for hosting us today. And I would now like to pass things over to Bernard Leung, Vice President of Canada, TS-NANO, one of the 15 projects we're announcing today. Thank you.
Thank you, Heather. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to begin by thanking the Government of Alberta and Emissions Reductions Alberta for the support in advancing innovations for the energy sector. This investment is not just a commitment to reducing emissions. It's a catalyst for real change in how we address well integrity challenges in the oil and gas industry. At TS-NANO, we have developed a nano-modified polymer technology that improves cement performance for oil and gas wells and beyond. Our solution enhances wellbore integrity, reduces methane emissions, and extends the lifespan of well repairs, providing producers with a more durable and long-lasting alternative. With this funding, we will partner with a major Canadian oil and gas producer and a Canadian cementing company to conduct field trials in Alberta's operating environments. These trials are a critical step in demonstrating how our technology can improve well remediations and support Alberta's leadership in responsible energy development. The support from ERA allows us to bridge the gap between lab success and large-scale deployment, ensuring Alberta's remained at the forefront of emissions reductions innovations. We are excited about what this means, not just for TS-NANO, but for the entire industry. Thank you again for these opportunities. We look forward to demonstrating the impact of this investment in the years ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Schulz and ERA. I can echo the sentiments expressed by Bernard that this funding is essential for Alberta's industrial sectors. My name is Marc Apduhan, Innovation and Business Development Lead for Flash Forests, and I have seen the technology transform from day one. I am joined with my colleague, Ryan Larson, our Registered Professional Forester. This is the second ERA project Flash Forest is a recipient to, and as a day oneer, I've seen the technology develop from concept to prototype taking to the skies, and to now, in present day, allowing us the ability to scale planting operations and restore ecosystems all throughout Alberta. Our industrial transformation project's focus will be on the AI-enabled site suitability software, which provides forestry and communities the tools for data-driven decision-making for reforestation. Our project will also focus on the first of its kind automated land deployment systems, joining our drone fleets and hand planting to promote hybrid approaches with our partners to reforestation. Biodiversity and future fire resiliency is now at the forefront of our work. And to build healthy and resilient ecosystems, our biological research is focused on both coniferous and deciduous seed pod biotechnology. These new tools will become available to protect our forests and our assets, making our communities more resilient to ravaging environmental factors such as wildfire, disease, and drought. Our partners, including Shakti by TELUS, Synovus and COSIA, Agroforestry and Woodlot Extension Society, West Fraser, and especially Emissions Reduction Alberta, give us the opportunity to collaborate, scale up, and provide transformative solutions for the province. And we look forward to another 3 years of learnings, failing forward, fast pivots, and successes.
Thank you. We will now begin the Q&A portion of this press conference. You can line up here. A reminder that is one question, one follow-up. We will start in the room before going to the phones.
Thank you. Hi, Minister. A question for you. Lana Smith with the Globe and Mail. So yesterday, the Premier said she first became aware of allegations that government officials, including her former Chief of Staff, had interfered in procurement and contract negotiations at AHS when the Globe published its story on February 5th. Meanwhile, Minister LaGrange has said she's been asking for documents regarding these concerns for 8 months. And then the Auditor General said it notified officials of their examination into procurement and contracting on January 31st. That's 5 days before the Globe published its story. So what does it say about this government that no one told the Premier that there were concerns in an investigation into health contracts?
Here's what I would say. First of all, that when these concerns were brought to light, both the Premier and Minister LaGrange swiftly came out and said that they do want a full investigation through the Auditor General into what happened here so they can address this issue. I think that that's important. I support that work. I think Albertans want that type of transparency. Of course, because this is now an issue before the courts, I likely can't say more than that. But I do know the Premier has been very clear that she wants transparency. She wants to know what happened here, and she wants to address this as quickly as possible.
Well, I'm not asking about the court case specifically, so I think you can answer these questions. I am wondering if you think it's appropriate for Minister LaGrange, who's at the center of these allegations, leading the internal investigation into these allegations, and who is also being sued, to still lead the health ministry, one of, if not the biggest files in this government.
You know, again, I would say that they've asked the Auditor General to undertake this review. I think that is
I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm not asking about the Auditor General's report. I'm asking if you think it's appropriate for Minister LaGrange to stay in her role.
I think Minister LaGrange is doing an excellent job at tackling healthcare reform, something that Albertans have wanted to see for a number of years. Obviously, that is challenging work. I think she's doing a fantastic job. And when it came to these concerns, she also said that she wants that investigation done swiftly. She wants to ensure that we have the facts about what happened so that that can be dealt with. And I do think that that is the responsible approach.
But is
We'll
it
go to the
appropriate
next
for
question.
her to be in her
It was one
position
question,
while
one
this is
follow-up.
ongoing?
We'll go to the next question.
I would
going to the next-
say she has asked for an investigation to take place, and we need that to ensure that we have the facts.
So I think every Albertan has heard by now that there's an investigation going on. Of course, there's an investigation going on, but don't you think that Albertans, your constituents, deserve more of an explanation from their government that they elected beyond there's an investigation, because these are some pretty insane allegations.
Well, I think an investigation is needed to gather the facts and ensure that we're able to take an appropriate response. Both the Premier and the Minister of Health are very committed to that. They've said that they want this to be transparent and swift so that we do have the facts and then can address the concerns that have been raised. I do think that that is the appropriate approach. And again, I probably can't speak too much more to details, but I definitely do support the Premier and the Minister of Health on that front.
Okay, so maybe for the next answer, we can just leave the investigation to one side. We don't have to mention the investigation. What's your message to your constituents right now who are reading the coverage around this and have almost no confidence in the Premier and the Health Minister and are worried that there's corruption inside your government? What's your message without mentioning that investigation?
Yeah, I would say, I spent yesterday in my constituency office responding to calls and emails from my constituents, a lot of whom have had concerns with AHS and the way AHS has been run over the last number of years. The fact that we invest more in healthcare and do not have better results than other provinces across the country. We ran on healthcare reform, knowing that Albertans deserve better outcomes for their tax dollars invested. And so they knew that this would be challenging work. I'm proud that our government is undertaking it, and I can tell you that my constituents are as well, especially those who work in healthcare.
So your message,
we'll go to City News now.
Your message is
one question, one
it's
follow-up.
AHS that's the problem here. It's not a government problem. It's an AHS problem.
Oh, sorry, you asked me not to speak about the investigation. When it comes to the investigation, absolutely, we want to know what's going on as a government. The Minister of Health has said she wants to get to the bottom of this. They want this to be transparent. They want the Auditor General to review, and I think that that is responsible and appropriate to gather the facts so that we can take swift action if needed.
We'll go to City News now. We will go to City News now. We will go to City News now. We will go to City News. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. City News has a question.
Morning, Minister. There's new polling from Angus Reid showing that Canadians are prioritizing the economy over the environment. As the Environment Minister, what do you make of this, and is it an either-or situation, or can we do both?
That's a great question. It's something that I talked a lot about when I was at COP last fall, and even the COP before that when we were in Dubai. There was a lot of talk about, obviously, environment and emissions reduction. However, when you talk to regular, everyday Canadians, and quite frankly, people around the world, their top-of-mind concerns are affordability, jobs, making sure investments can still happen in our economy and that we are not shutting down our major industries. I think now, given what we are seeing happen in North America and around the world, that is more important than ever. I don't believe it is an either-or conversation. I can tell you just last week I was in Japan. They see Canadian and Alberta natural gas as the answer to some of the environmental challenges that we are facing globally right now. They want to be our trading partner, especially when it comes to gas, providing Japan and Southeast Asia with responsibly produced energy. The challenge to that has been, quite frankly, and I did hear this loud and clear, is we have a federal government that had provided mixed messages that said, we're going to curtail production, we're going to cap production, we're not going to build pipelines, and that has made us an unstable trading partner. So I do think it is important that the conversation is shifting to make sure that our industry remains competitive, that we can continue to create jobs, that we can continue to step up and provide the safe, affordable, reliable energy that people in Canada and around the world are looking for. And by seeing our energy industry continue to thrive, we then see additional investments to tackle some of those environmental challenges. So I actually think it's a really productive conversation. I've seen that conversation shifting certainly over the time, I guess, a year and a half that I've been in this role, but I think it's the right conversation to have.
And on U.S. tariffs, we're seeing a bit of instability in terms of the U.S. deciding whether or not it wants to tariff oil and gas. Has this province found any other partners that we can export our oil and gas to? And essentially, is the U.S. still a stable trading partner to work with?
You know, I first of all have to give our Premier so much credit. Danielle Smith is the leader that our province needs right now. She's been doing an exceptional job, along with other premiers across Canada, in taking the message of the importance of our trade relationship, especially in energy, to the United States and around the world. Of course, the United States trading partnership with Canada is very important, especially when it comes to energy. I do think it's to the benefit of both of our countries and the people who call them home. However, you know, it also, I think, is important that it's changing the conversation about how we view energy and environment so that we can, in fact, take our energy to market to other countries who need them. Going back to Japan, or even, you know, I use the example of our geothermal innovation helping to power Germany. We had a federal government that told these countries that there was no business case to provide Canadian natural gas. Obviously, with what we're seeing right now, the importance of U.S. trade relations to our overall economy, I can tell you our federal government was absolutely wrong when they said that, and I think that, you know, as an optimist, if there is a benefit to these conversations, that it is encouraging Canadians to think differently about how we balance those needs, and that we are prioritizing jobs, economy, the livelihoods of Canadians, affordability of energy, and the environment at the same time. And I think what you mentioned about that showing in the polls, I think it's important because that's a message that resonates with Canadians.
We have time for one more question and follow-up. We'll go to the phones. Operator, put the first caller through.
First question is from Catherine, the System of Living. Your line is now open.
Hi, thanks, Minister. So the Sturgeon Lake Cree Nation has said that they're canceling a meeting with you and some of the other ministers. They said that they were under the impression that you were going to meet in person for at least an hour, and instead got told there's going to be a half-hour Zoom call, and so they've canceled that. I'm wondering, why not meet in person when it has such profound implications on treaty rights, including water usage?
Yeah, I'm not aware of that just yet today. I know, you know, we always seek to do meetings in person when available. Obviously, typically that could be in Calgary or around the province. And then, of course, when session is in, that's typically in Edmonton. And it is pretty consistent that we do hour-long meetings, especially when we're meeting with Indigenous and First Nations communities. But sometimes it depends on availability, either in my calendar or theirs. So I don't have the details, but you know, I can absolutely follow up with you on that.
Sure. And so I have a follow-up question on a different topic. You said Minister LaGrange is doing an excellent job in health. In the past, when there have been investigations, for example, with the former Justice Minister, there was an interim minister appointed. So why do you think it's appropriate that Minister LaGrange stay in the role while the investigation is ongoing?
You know, I think right now there is a lot of work going on to transform the healthcare system. I think stability is important, but I also think that transparency is too, and I think that's why Minister LaGrange and the Premier have asked the Auditor General to look into this to ensure that we have the facts so that swift action can be taken if necessary.
Thank you, everyone. That's all the time we have today. Have a nice day.
Thanks for coming, everybody.